Good morning, market snipers. Welcome back. This is Jesse. We're getting started right at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, right on the dot, as usual. Sometimes not, but as usual, we're starting right at 9 a.m. And we're going to get rocking and rolling here. Hope you had a good, happy 4th of July. Hope you had a good day off and spend some time with the family. If you're in the U.S., if you're not in the U.S., maybe you had a day off with the family anyway. So we'll, whatever the case may be, just hope you got to spend some time with the family. We did a little barbecue, stayed around here, didn't really get out too much. We have a 11-day-old newborn, so can't do too much right now. Usually we go down the beach, Huntington Beach, and get in the mix, but definitely not this year. So anyways, with that, if you're new, awesome. Welcome. If you're returning, even better. The first half of the live stream, we'll cover Bitcoin. Then we will cover the altcoins, the indices like the NASDAQ, SP 500, and Bitcoin miners, probably anything else that catches our eye, stocks, crypto, stuff like that. Second half of the live stream, make sure to put in your chart requests and put in all the details. Early bird gets the worm. So if you're putting in a chart request at like 45 minutes in or later, or 30 minutes later, probably not going to get to it. So just definitely make sure to get in early, put in the ticker symbol, and let me know if it's crypto or stock. That way I can search for it quickly and keep this thing moving. So we're looking at the Bitcoin chart right now. Just wanted to say good morning to everyone. Welcome back. The Magic Man, Inch versus BTC. Sure, we can do that. Let me take a look at that. All right, that's about it. So get into it. But first, before we do, just want to look at some thoughts that I posted over the past few days, right? So let's go over here and first, let's smash that like button, hit the repost button on the live stream. Help me, help you, help me, and just throw in a quick comment. All it takes 5 seconds during this 1 hour or 45-minute live stream, depending on what we're going to cover here today. Just takes 5 seconds while we're doing all this, but I want to kind of look at this over here that I posted. In scenario 2, posted this earlier. There were a lot of reasons why Bitcoin could retrace back down to this lower target area. We don't have a magic crystal ball. We didn't know if it would or not, but we put them on, almost 3 weeks ago. At this original post was from June 21st, but we were talking about it way before then. And once it had that sell signal over here, I was telling you my plan that I was getting out and taking that small 7% gain from over here, rather than letting my stop loss get taken out at break even. I just thought that, hey, might as well at least lock in something, right? 7% is better than 0%. And so anyways, here we are still breaking down. And then we talked about originally in scenario 1, if we start seeing daily candle closes back below the first green target box, which happened, let's see, more than 10 days ago, there's a candle close below it, then the probabilities start to increase that we're going to see lower prices, right? We're going to see price come back down in this target area, which is right around that 56,000. There was another confluence area at 52,000, which has not been hit yet. And so that's what I was talking about here. Could retrace back down. One of those targets still haven't been hit and would take price down to 52,000-ish. It's not exactly 52,000. And also depends on what exchange you're looking at. So I just always throw in the ish. It's going to be close enough. If so, this would be the first time BTC had a 30% correction since 2022. Been talking about that for a while because we haven't seen a 30% correction in a while. So going on, I think it's about 2 years since we've seen a 30% correction. It's not normal. I'm used to Bitcoin having 30% or more corrections going back to 2020, 2021. I wasn't trading Bitcoin before that, but that's when I started trading it with 10x leverage pretty hard. Those 2 years started off. 2022, I thought I was late to the party on shorting Bitcoin. So I started shorting Ethereum early December 2021. And so I was mostly shorting Ethereum with 10% leverage to the downside 2022. And then 2023, they were reducing the leverage. So I reduced the leverage to 5x leverage on the buys at 16,800, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And now it's just basically crypto spot for me because of the US cracking down on exchanges. And then, of course, still doing Ethereum Bitcoin futures, which is basically the equivalent of the leverage over there. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm personally at. The bullish scenario, price finds support here at scenario 2. I'm not just reading, by the way, I'm not just reading this. I'm going to show you on the charts as well. I'm just doing a quick recap. Otherwise, you could just go to the post and tune out of the live stream. But I'm actually going to show in the charts what I'm kind of talking about. I'm just kind of recapping it. Bullish scenario, price would find support. You see this on here? Yeah. Price would find support in this target box, possibly all the way down to 52,000, and would take back. Maybe the low is in. It's possible. We don't know. Maybe it doesn't hit 52,000. It's possible. Find support at scenario 2, target box 2, and then breaks out similar to Apple. That would be the bullish scenario, right? Find support, breaks out, and takes off to new all-time highs, right? Still would take some time to play out. Maybe it starts to break out by the end of July, heading into August, and then maybe making new all-time highs by mid-August or whatever. That would be the bullish scenario for me. And then the bearish dash bullish scenario, possible this correction lasts a couple more months. Could go as low as 38 to 45,000 is what I would see, right? This would be a bigger correction, a longer correction, because it would take the ship a little bit longer to get turned around. And so that would be like my bearish bullish scenario. Maybe it takes a month or two for the ship to get turned around and it would head lower, right? So similar to like early 2021, where a lot of people were calling for the bear market, retraced like 50%, right? Bitcoin retraced 50% and then had a rally to make a new all-time high, right? So that would be kind of like my thought process is like the bearish bullish scenario. And then, of course, I could be wrong, but I do not see a bear market scenario similar to 2022. It's possible. Everything is possible, right? But I could be wrong. It could be a bear market scenario like 2022. I'm just not seeing it. I played the bear market scenario 2022 all the way down, right? All the way down. I'm not seeing that right now. But of course, if the monthly chart starts to flip bearish, I'm going to change my tune. I'm going to change my scenario. There are signs that the bearish bullish scenario could play out with the weekly chart has a pending sell signal. The 2-week chart has a pending RSI sell signal, pending MACD, but not the monthly yet. So still currently leaning towards the bullish scenario. And of course, we'll see how those higher time frames take a while to play out. Remember, it's early in the month, right? So even if the monthly chart starts to look pretty bearish, it could just be creating a wick to the downside. And then by the time the month is over, could start to flip back up and creating a wick over there. So with that, that's about it. We'll share this one as well. And put in something else. So there you go. All right, let's get into it. So price was getting oversold. There was a reverse candle. It wasn't after bullish divergence. So we were being mindful of that. Price was starting to close back above the trading dots, but there was never a buy signal. And then it started to reverse back down. And of course, took out this level over here, right? Started to take that out. And then, of course, the candle closed below and took out this pivot point. And then lower prices coming in right after that, right? So started to get oversold, wicked all the way down here to, what is that, 53,500-ish. and it's still in oversold territory as of right now. So we will see. We'll see how it plays out. It is in the target 2 right now. And of course, if that bearish bullish scenario plays out, I did add some more targets like that. And then, but first and foremost, we're going to take a look at that bullish scenario right now of the Apple, right? This is the Apple fractal. So I'm going to pull it back over here. There are a lot of similarities, not exact, right? It's not identical by no means, but and it's starting to break back down over here versus like over here. It could be very similar. So this is the potential bullish scenario where maybe it plays out kind of like Apple. Apple took out this pivot point over here, and it was starting to look pretty bearish. It hit 2 of the 4 targets to the downside. What if Bitcoin hits this second target to the downside and then finds support, maybe puts in bullish divergence similar to Apple, and then takes off to the upside? You can see that, before the breakout, it would probably be like, if it played out similar, we don't know if it will or not. We don't have a magic crystal ball. But if it did play out similar, could be like third week of July, right? Start to make its move back up. Apple had gapped up right here. There's a gap up. And then by August, right? It's possible. It's possible it's making new all-time highs by August. We don't know if that bullish scenario is going to play out or not. And then, of course, the bearish dash bullish scenario is it takes longer. Takes, a month or 2 to find bottom, right? Maybe a rally along the way. Takes a couple months to play out. Possibly hits lower targets. You get the 200-week moving average all the way down here. My base case, and this is what it's been for like 3 weeks, find support at target 1 and bounce, find support at target 2 and bounce, and or something similar to the Apple. So that's what I still believe. That's what I still think will happen. We'll find out if it does or not. There's a lot of people getting ultra bearish right now. There's even perma bulls flipping, right? Perma bulls that it was up only are flipping. Perma bears are rejoicing. People are just really, it seems like people are getting really bearish right now. So, just got to watch out for that. When people are getting ultra bullish over here, there's bearish divergence, right? People are getting ultra bullish, there's bearish divergence. There's reversal candle warning signs, right? To the downside, it's getting oversold. People are getting really bearish. There's reversal candle warning signs, right? If we see bullish divergence, then I'm going to get louder and louder of this potential move to the upside. Right now, we're kind of in between, leaning this way, but aware of the higher time frame starting to flip back around. So with that, that's my own personal opinion. Obviously, none of this is financial advice. Obviously, it's for educational purposes only, and hopefully we find some entertainment along the way. Woo! Bitcoin is at $56,400. It happened quick, right? Happened quick. The sell signal was June 11th. We talked about it. We covered it. We were on it on the live stream. Fast forward to the 24th. My baby was born, and it started to get oversold. They were really pushing it down after the baby was born, down to $58,000, right? All this time, right? Baby was born. I was still in the hospital. Tuesday, the 25th. They released us on Wednesday, right? Starting to get my sea legs back under me. Let's see. Friday was the first live stream, I think. That was, no, maybe I took that off too. This is the 4th consecutive. So you got today, skipped yesterday because the market was closed. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I must have started. Yeah, I started on Monday. So I did take that Friday off. So Monday, started to get my sea legs under me. And here we are back on it. Multiple days straight down on Bitcoin. Coming back down in this longer term target 2. Scenario 2 could be possibly playing out. And then this is the Apple scenario. So it looks a little bit cleaner if you change this to line, right? And if you were to come over here and then take the indicator off for a second, you can see like this pivot point kind of lines up. This pivot point kind of lines up. This pivot point, uh, this pivot point down here is pretty close. This pivot point, and then this is really close, right? This is really close. I didn't keep adjusting the fractal to try to fit a narrative. I don't really care if it plays out exactly the same or if it's similar, just as long as I'm kind of gearing up for the idea of the next buy the dip scenario. I just think of fractals as an idea. You could probably use Elliott wave as an idea. You could use patterns as an idea, but I don't think they're reliable enough for me to build a strategy on. I don't trade because of a fractal. I don't trade because of an Elliott wave. I don't trade because of a pattern. If it's an idea that fits like what my normal long and short entries are, awesome. But I think they work out like maybe 50% of the time. And then actually hitting targets on all that stuff is, I think it's probably like 30, 35%. In my own personal opinion, I don't have any real data just from the eyeball test of staring at charts for way too long. The magic I-man, the magic L-man. I'm not sure. Is it the L-man? Probably L. RB made to live. Awesome. Happy 4th of July to you as well. Belated 4th of July. RB on the replay crew over on YouTube. Always helping me out over there. Smashing the like button. Appreciate it. Blue Diesel, welcome back. Good morning. So that's Bitcoin, right? That's Bitcoin. We'll find out if this continues to play out or not. We'll find out if it works similar to Apple. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes lower, hits that $52,000 area, and then breaks out similar to Apple. Could go lower than Apple, but because of we just haven't seen a Bitcoin correction of 30% in 2 years. So are we still going to do that or not? Feeling pretty lucky. I sold all my DOT before this dump. Okay. Yeah, I don't like to DCA, but DCAing in maybe a bull run is a lot better than DCAing in the bear market. But people are talking about DCAing all the way down the bear market. I think that's a terrible strategy. Because they just thought it was going to keep turning back around and then it didn't, right? So if it's in an uptrend, yeah, DCAing's fine, right? It's not my strategy. I'd rather buy the dip, a higher probability reversal of that dip scenario, the breakout, right? So it's not really for me, but it's better to do it in a bull run or in a trending upward market than a bear market or a longer term downward trend. So, otherwise you buy the dip all the way down, and then even by DCing in a bear market, you're going to be down like 50% at some point. You have to wait a very, very, very long time for it to turn back around. And there's no guarantee it turns back around. There is not a guarantee. For example, if you were to look at the .com bubble of the NASDAQ, and I wasn't trading back then, 2000, I wasn't trading back then. I was worried about the fraternity days. But if you study charts, you probably went back. .com, if you never sold the .com, you go back to like 2000 and you just held your position, you had to wait, I think it was like 10 to 15 years just to get back to break even. You know how much money you lost or how much opportunity you lost in that time frame with the dollar value going down, right, due to inflation? It's a terrible strategy, I think. I think it's a terrible strategy, in my own personal opinion. It's not for me. I can't do that. Especially at 45. I can't be holding something for 10, 15 years. My God. I got my baby right now. So gotta think about college, possibly 18 years. Gotta think about retirement. I can't be holding an asset that doesn't perform for 10 to 15 years. I'd rather cut my loss and get into something that's gonna make money, right? So that's me. It's my own personal opinion. Maybe if you're in your early 20s or something, maybe you do. And that's probably gonna work out fine. But with every asset, there's never a guarantee that it flips back around, or at least right away. Uh, Perspective and valid points. Thanks, Jesse. I'm learning something new each time I come back. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't want to take responsibility for their own trading and investing. They haven't developed a strategy. They haven't back tested. They haven't stared at charts obsessively, which that's what it takes. So what do? They just buy and hold, hope it happens, right? Buy and hold it's just a hope strategy. I'm not into the hope strategy. I want to control my own destiny. I don't want someone else to control my own destiny. If I'm going to make a mistake, let me make the mistake. I don't want someone else to make a mistake and then be like and play the victim card, right? I don't want to play the victim card. I don't want to play the, black swan card. I don't want to play any of that. That's all nonsense. That's all nonsense. Take it from someone who went back to zero in the real estate game, probably more than once, but definitely from the fix and flips of 2006, 2007. I was on fire in my mid 20s and kept doubling down, kept doubling down, kept doubling down. And then the market rug pulled. And I even had like it all mapped out that I would still make money if the market went down 10%. However, the market went down 50% in my area within a matter of 6 months, and was lucky to dump them without foreclosing. However, I had remodeled them. I put all the money back into them and went literally back to zero. Meanwhile, the mortgage business went to basically nothing as well in 2007. So mortgage banks were closing. It's called the mortgageimplode.com. And that was 300 plus mortgage banks closed their doors in 1 year. So, you think it will flip around and then it doesn't. And you go through all your entire savings, covering the bills, covering your lifestyle, blah, 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 blah. So I can't go back to that. I can't go back to that. So I don't put all my eggs in one basket. And I'm a swing trader because of difficult life lessons that I've learned. And everybody was saying the same thing back then as they're saying about the real estate market now. And there was one 80-year-old guy in my 20s. He was in commercial real estate. He said he had seen 7 cycles in the past, and he said, don't buy anymore. My thought was, I've crunched the numbers a million times, thought I was a wizard, right? I'm not. I'm human. And I was like, he's just risk adverse because he's in his 80s. Hindsight, he was the only person that was correct that I knew. And he was dead right. But I had to learn the lesson the hard way, right? I had to learn the lesson the hard way. Education is expensive. I had an expensive education until I started talking about that in 2009. I was pretty hard on myself until then. And then I started to bounce back. I wasn't depressed, but I was, second guessing myself on investments and stuff like that. So, with that, that's the tale of the tape from my 20s. Long winded rant, probably no one wants to hear, but if it helps a couple people, cool. That's from learning the hard way and pain. It's not the last time I've learned the hard way and pain. I tend to like pain. I tend to lock it in after I've learned the hard way. I try to tell these stories so that you don't learn the hard way. Maybe you can curtail some of that pain and learn quicker, right? Learn quicker. So, woo, I wish I would have listened to that 80-year-old guy. I'm now that 80-year-old guy at 45. I'm that 80-year-old guy at 45 now. Oh, been through a lot. So don't want to go through that. We want to keep thriving. Keep thriving. Up, down, all around. Let's keep going. All right, let's get back to it. That was enough. That was enough ranting and raving. So this is Apple. Just want to show Apple the similarities, right? Here are the similarities. I was showing it over here. I was showing the lower high. I was showing this pivot point over here in October, right? So you can see it took a while from October to April. That was like a 5-month, right? It is so similar. It is so similar. The scars of life are a reminder of what to do and what not to do. Yeah, some people make the mistakes over and over and over and over again. I make mistakes, but differently. Continue to try to learn differently and try to keep evolving, right? But that's sometimes what it takes. But hopefully, I can help a couple people not make those same mistakes. So here's Apple, right? So many similarities. This pivot point in October, like I just talked about, 5 months later. Go back to Bitcoin, right? That's why I have it on there. So this was Bitcoin back in May. We're only 2 months in, right? Only 2 months in. So maybe it takes more time, but that's what I'm kind of watching over here. So maybe we're somewhere over in here and still takes another month, right? Maybe another month to be look like Apple and come down closer to this third target, right? You got the 200-week moving average, similar to the fourth target on Apple as well. Never came back down and hit that. Never came down and hit that target. It wicked it. It wicked it. So that would be wicking like lower. So I don't know if it's going to play out similar or not, but I'm just kind of showing what Apple did and came down close to the third target, went below the second target, and then started to break out to the upside, right? And came up and still making new all-time highs up there on Apple. So it'd be amazing if we saw Bitcoin do something similar, right? Got this downward arrow. And then you got this downward arrow here, had the bullish divergence. That's what I'm kind of pointing out here. The bullish divergence, pointing at the lower high, etc., etc., etc. No. Yeah. I mean, that's probably like any market. You could find ultra bullish, ultra bearish market, but eventually, you know, that market goes down as well. I think there's a lot of people that bought items when they couldn't afford it and probably still are, but that will probably come to a head as well because there's like $1 trillion in credit card debt or more for consumers. So that's like the highest it's ever been, I think. Don't quote me on it. I think I saw it somewhere on the internet a few times, uh, but it wouldn't surprise me. And those interest rates are what, 19, 29%, probably for the average consumer or higher, right? So 19 to 29%. It's a matter of time before the banks don't keep giving them higher and higher credit. It's just a matter of time before they can't make their minimum payments anymore. And then it's just a matter of time before that spending stops. And then some of those bubbles might uh, burst over there. So I don't know if it's all related or not, so who knows? I'm not in the sneaker business. I don't really know, but a bubble is a bubble, whether it's the Beanie Babies, real estate, crypto, whatever, shoes, right? Each one could have its own bubble. So, what else? What else? What else? So that's Apple, that's Bitcoin, right? Will it put in some sort of bullish divergence as well over the next few weeks, maybe a month? We don't know. From June to July, that would be like that similar month to Apple. From March to April, right? June to July, and then maybe it starts taking off to the upside. That'd be awesome. That would be awesome. That'd be incredible. That'd be incredible. I think a lot of market snipers would nail that. Would be incredible. I'll be calling it out the whole way if it does. Aware that it's possible, comes all the way back down here first, right? Even Apple came down to like this area down here, where the 200-week moving average was coming into this fourth target box as well on Apple. Maybe does that for Bitcoin and then kind of takes off up there like that. So we don't know. We don't know how it's going to play out. We'll see. I don't have a magic crystal ball, but we will play it to the upside and the downside. ETH. Woo. Let me take this off. Take this off, right? So there you go. You had this pump up here, came back down, hit target 4. Interesting. Oh, let's take this off over here. leave this over here, leave this out like that, right? I'm gonna move this over here, move this over like that, came all the way back down and hit target 4 again, right? All the way again. And this time there's no additional bullish divergence as of right now. Clean this up a little bit. We don't need all this. We know what happened in the past already. Take all those targets off. That was target to the upside, right? So we will see. Maybe it puts in a higher low, right? Maybe it puts in a higher low. Maybe this is a low over here at 28.78. Maybe it puts in a slightly higher low over here. We don't know yet. So we'll find out on Ethereum. It is getting oversold as of right now. It is getting oversold, and it could remain that way. It could remain oversold, just like it remained overbought. Could remain oversold. Maybe it comes down to hit target 5 that I don't have on here. I'd have to probably map it out. So it's a downtrend until it's not. Higher probability reversals it's going to take a little bit of time to get turned around. This might be like a few weeks or so, right? Or longer weeks, if not a month or two, right? Solana, let's see, looks a little bit different. Solana looks a little bit different. That could be additional bullish divergence, right? Could be additional bullish divergence. You still have the trending dots currently trending up, but I'd be cautious with, with additional bullish divergence, or maybe it goes away completely by itself anyways, especially with Bitcoin and Ethereum still trying to find bottom over there. But there is bullish divergence on Solana, so I want to point that out. Near could be putting in additional bullish divergence as well, right? Or could be putting in bullish divergence. Let's see, take that one off. We had drawn that out. It's possible to come back down. So we will find out if it's too early to call it as of right now, if this is bullish divergence or not, right? Because it hasn't even started to flip back around. It's pure speculation if that's going to be bullish divergence or not. It could disappear altogether. It might not be bullish divergence. It's just as of right now, if the candle were to close and price started to make a move back up, that could be bullish divergence. So we'll keep an eye on it over there on near. You got Cardano breaking back down. Possible bullish divergence, right? Possible additional bullish divergence over here. Keep this over there like that. Let's see. Let's clean some of this up. These are invalid. These targets are invalid. Price went lower, right? Price, once it takes out this pivot point over here, it's not valid. We have to redraw it after that. So we'll find out. Still bullish divergence as of right now. So we'll find out if it starts to flip back around or not. As of right now, it's in a downtrend still in a downtrend over here on Cardano. Another pending MACD bearish crossover. Sand still falling out, right? Let's see. Possible additional bullish divergence. Possible still bullish divergence. Too early to call it as of right now. Still trending down over here on sand. So we'll see. We'll see if it's going to find bottom or not. It's possible that it continues to put in bullish divergence. So we'll see. We'll see. Filecoin, similar thoughts, except for Filecoin, there's no longer bullish divergence. It's gone. So continuing to fall, continuing to try to find bottom over there on Filecoin. It has not as of yet. Still down 72%. That's crazy. So if you bought up here, right, when there was bearish divergence, getting overbought, a reversal candle, right? There's bearish divergence. Yep. Bearish divergence followed by a reversal candle, and probably a lot of people bought up in here at $11, right? So bearish divergence, reverse candle. When would now have been a good time to lock in profits and get out there? Then if you bought this dip, don't forget to sell it as well, right? If you bought any of these dips or don't forget to sell those rips, right? And then it flips right back around to a sell signal. And so that's my other point is if you're DCing this whole way down, right? Say if you're DCing here, you're DCing here, and you're DCing here, right? So you're down what? Here to here, down 33%. Here to here, you're down 63%. So the average of the two, if you're dollar cost averaging in those two areas, right? You're down like 40, 50%. No thanks. No thanks. That's not for me. That's not for me. No, thank you. I'd rather be in, even take a 5-10% loss, get out, on the sell signal if the buy signal didn't work, right? I'd rather be in and out than of course, it's not just the buy and sell signal. This just to help out visually. It doesn't replace the overall trading strategy that is in the recorded coaching. The indicator was built off of the strategy. I didn't build a strategy off of the indicator. So it's there to help out visually, but that's not the actual buy and sell strategy. So a lot of people get confused. They think it's just the overall indicator. Dot had the bullish divergence, right? Had additional bullish divergence. So I'm going to move this all the way over here. Additional bullish divergence. So if dot puts in a higher low at some point, that will be the higher probability or takes out this pivot point. But these, I have to redraw these, right? I have to redraw these because the price went even lower. So possible bullish divergence on dot. Ooh, 36 minutes in. We better get going. We better get rocking and rolling. Up 5% today. Mana. Additional bullish divergence over here. Possibly. We don't know how today's candle is going to close, but based off of yesterday's candle close, that was additional bullish divergence. Took out the low though, so we're going to remove all of those targets to the upside. I'm going to have to redraw them, right? I have to redraw them. AVAX, probably similar thoughts. Chainlink, Rari still trying to find bottom. Algo, NASDAQ. We're going to switch gears over NASDAQ. Breaking news. NASDAQ finally hit ANF target 1. This is what I've been talking about. There is market divergence. The indices, the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, all making new all-time highs, hitting ANF target 1, while Bitcoin is not. Apple was doing the same thing where it was going lower, consolidating, similar to the Bitcoin fractal, and then took off to the upside, started catching up as well. So will Bitcoin also play out similar to Apple since there is market divergence? The indices are going up. The Magnificent Seven are probably mostly going up. Apple is. Let's switch gears over to that. But yeah, ANF target 1 was finally hit on NASDAQ. The weekly chart is still ultra bullish. You got another ANF target up there. Possible, right? 2-week chart is ultra bullish. Monthly chart is ultra bullish, right? We're not picking tops on the NASDAQ. It's still in an uptrend. Move that up like that. And we will see. We will see. 20,600 NASDAQ futures. SP 500, ultra bullish. Still within ANF target 1 over here. Bitcoin not, right? Bitcoin not. So come all the way back down. These are old drawings over here. But we will see if it's going to come up. ANF target 1, if it were to hit ANF target 1, which is Abercrombie and Fitch, a lot of you have been hearing me talk about that since I think like since beginning of 2024. So like 6 months, probably 6 months. Bitcoin would be up here like at least $100,000. I'd have to redraw it. I can't remember. Maybe like 112, 116, I think it was in the middle of the target box. So we'll see. We'll see. Dow Jones looks a little bit different. Hasn't made new all-time highs. We'll see if it does or not. It's somewhere in between. We talked about this though. We talked about it. We said, it could go through like something like this, flat line, and then come up, right? Still playing out like that. Dollar starting to break back down. positive sign for Bitcoin. So just a matter of liquidating all the longs to the downside, probably with the help of the ETFs, so that more customers can get in lower prices and then they start selling the ETFs harder and faster, right? There's always a plan. There's always a whale on the other side manipulating and making their plan of attack to benefit them. That's why we swing trade. That's why we don't say we're going to $1 million Bitcoin. That's why we don't say we're going to $3,000 Bitcoin or $10,000 Bitcoin. It's possible, but that's why we're talking about swing trading to the downside and the upside. And we don't have any targets way down there as of right now. So that's the dollar. VIX still at these low levels. Good to see. I don't really like this downward trend line. Let's fix that. Let's see. Let's just take it off now. Probably more like this. Probably something more like that, right? Okay. Bitcoin mining stocks. Let's go to Magnificent 7 first. Let's flip over there. Nvidia. I don't even know. Let's just remove some of those. I can't remember from the live streams what we were talking about. Currently back above the trading dots as of right now. It was overbought, right? It was overbought. This is a gap. The yellow dotted lines are gaps, so we are mindful of the gap. It's really overextended, like Bitcoin kind of was. RSI sell signal like Bitcoin was. So we'll see. If it puts in a lower high, it's possible we start to see some lower prices over on Nvidia, right? So there's no lower high yet. So wherever that is, let's see, this was from this wick down to here, 16%. Maybe it retraces back up. It's possible it comes back down. We'll see. We don't know yet. Still in an uptrend overall. Just going to draw this out like this, the overall uptrend, right? So could remain that way. Could remain that way. Kind of redraw it a little bit better. That's the uptrend as of now. Probably could draw a little bit more aggressive upward trend line. Still uptrend, right? Overall. Kind of build it out like that. And if it starts breaking down along the way, then you know. But that's an aggressive upward trend line, right? Very, very steep upward aggressive trend line. Let's see. That wasn't very good. There we go. There we go. Something like that, right? That's the uptrend. Basically it was going parabolic, right? So taking some time off the clock. Meta back above the trailing dots, back up to making new all-time highs. ANF target 1 is right up here. Amazon still all-time highs. Microsoft ultra bullish, making new all-time highs. Where is Bitcoin? Right? Where is Bitcoin? Maybe Bitcoin consolidates for another week or two. This is another major reason why I think that Bitcoin bullish scenario that we talked about, Apple breaking out, making new all-time highs, whether it takes a couple weeks still, maybe third week of July, who knows, starts to make that breakout. Maybe by, first, second week of August, maybe it's making new all-time highs as well. That's why I'm very, very optimistic about the upside and not getting too bearish calling for bear markets. We've seen this before. Microsoft, it's possible, right? Tesla, really, really extended right now. Tesla is really extended. If you're in like an options trade, and this isn't financial advice, but if you're in an options trade, say you bought back down in here, right? Or back down here. Let's just say from this last pivot point of the buy signal at 177, you're an options trade. At what point do you take profit, right? At what point do you take profit on an options trade? Maybe you're a longer term holder, but at some point you would think that it would come back down, fill some of this in, and then come back out for the next major move after that. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but that's the weekly chart right there, right? That's the weekly chart. Could be closing above the downward trend line at that point, right? And then maybe it comes back down, retests, and then puts in that macro higher low again. So you got that low, another low, and then maybe puts in another higher low, right? Takes off, right? So who knows? Still possible. It keeps going, then comes back down. So takes out this pivot point over here, puts in a higher high, puts in a higher low. Let's go. Apple, we already talked about that. Ultra bullish on the weekly chart as well. Google, making new all-time highs. So everything basically, Tesla hasn't made a new all-time high. Bitcoin hasn't made a new all-time high, but Tesla is finally trending in the right direction. Bitcoin, will it make another new all-time high? It hasn't since March. So we'll see. I'm not negative on Bitcoin because of that. I think it's lagging time-wise, right? So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Bitcoin mining stocks. Let's see. What are they doing? HUT. Remember, ultra bullish, pretty far extended away, right? If you're in an options trade, are you still trying to push it? Or do you think it's going to possibly hit the mic check. Or do you think it's possibly going to retrace a little bit, right? It is through target 4 of 4 shorter term targets. There are longer term targets that still haven't been hit. But at what point do you decide to take profit on that, right? So it wicked all the way up to $17, came back down, $14.49, trying to battle back up. No bearish divergence yet, kind of letting the trending dots catch up right now. MIGI, what's going on with the MIGI? Still trying to battle its way up. So we'll see. Oh, wrong one. There we go. So starting to form an uptrend slowly, right? Slowly getting the ship turned around, slowly building it back up, right? That's kind of the way I visualize it. That's slowly starting to turn the ship around. Probably can draw it out like that, right? So we'll see. We'll see if it starts to continue to do that or not. And those targets are still valid over here in my own personal opinion. A lot of people say they have a humble opinion. I think they use the word incorrectly. So there you go. Trying to battle back up above the trailing dots. Could get back above target 1. And if so, the probabilities will continue to increase of hitting target 2, then maybe target 3, then target 4. And if we're in a crazy bull run, look out, right? Look out. Hasn't retested 200-week moving average in a very, 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 very long time. But we don't need to worry about that right now. Right now, we'll find out if it regains target 1 to go on to hit target 2. So Hive up 3% today, wicked all the way down 2.78%. MIGI, I haven't checked it in a couple weeks, I don't think, but still doesn't have options to play on my two brokers. But Hive and Hut do. So they'll have pretty big swings, right? They'll swing it down, then they'll swing it back up. Could be regaining the training dots again. And those targets are still valid. Hit 2 of the 4 targets to the downside, upside so far. Riot, still similar thoughts over there. Targets are still valid in my own personal opinion. Bitfarm, similar thoughts. Wick down, come back up. These are probably options. These swings are probably because of the options. Marathon Digital, similar thoughts. CLSK, Iris Energy, similar thoughts. Like, we're going to make it, hopefully. Cypher Mining, right? Right. All right. Inge versus BTC, right? Let's pivot over here and then we'll see if anything else catches our eye. But Inge versus BTC. There we go. Inge versus BTC. Where is it? There it is. There you go. There you go. There you go. Is that the bottom? Maybe, right? Maybe. But still trending down right now. There is the bullish divergence, right? We'll see if it. Let's see from there. Bullish divergence there. Bullish divergence could be cleared, so we'll find out if it puts in a higher low and then maybe it breaks out after that. Oh, let's see. What else? What else? There you go. There you go. So maybe, but maybe it's going to find bottom, or we don't know yet. We don't know if it's going to or not. Maybe it'll find bottom in the near future. And then, of course, that could be that next possible breakout over there. However long it takes, right? However long it takes, but still trying to find bottom, still bearish on the daily chart as of right now on Inch versus BTC. I think that's the only other request we have. Bitcoin. What else? What else? Bitcoin dominance, since we're on the subject. Oh, let's look at some of these Bitcoin ETFs. We pointed this out a while back, right? We pointed this out. These are old targets, but we pointed this out a while back with these gaps. This gap was just filled on BITO. So this gap was filled. Let's put that over here like that. And then text. So I talked about this already. Gap filled. Bitcoin had the last major Bitcoin pump was because of the ETFs inflows, right? Probably, most likely. So I posted this that would Bitcoin have another breakout without the ETFs turning around? And obviously, I didn't think so, right? And so here we are, still continuing to break back down. So unfortunately, everyone in 2021 was talking about we need the institutions, we need the institutions, we need the institutions. The Magic Man, you got it. You're welcome. I was like, are you sure you want the institutions here? I've seen the institutions. I started trading with options, right? And I saw the market manipulation. I've seen what they've done with gold and silver. My own personal opinion, while the dollar continues to have inflation every single year, that my own personal thought is that they've been suppressing price on Bitcoin and silver, and could be a considerably higher price than it actually is. And so that was always one of my fears of Bitcoin with Bitcoin futures. It's great for swing trading, right? And I'm a swing trader first and foremost. But for like just being a hodler, the risk is, and there's been diminishing returns, and I've talked about diminishing returns since 2021 because I've only been in it since 2020, 2021. But diminishing returns of Bitcoin. But also, once futures was introduced back in 2017 and end of 2016, I think, December or November. And then there's been other ETFs. There's derivatives of Bitcoin, of derivatives, of derivatives. There's micro futures, right? There's so many different types of way to trade fake Bitcoin or paper Bitcoin, not the actual Bitcoin. And so now that the ETFs are there, right? It's just that much more that could be manipulated, right? So just being aware of that. So we've added the ETFs on. There was bearish divergence on the ETFs where there wasn't on Bitcoin. So that kind of gave us a clue that price is probably going to that could possibly go lower. And we were putting out targets and stuff like that. And then of course the sell signal happened after that. But this gap was filled over here. It was pretty gappy. There's still some more gaps to the downside, right? IBIT, there's a gap here, right? Let's get that back on yellow. So there's a gap there. Almost filled that gap. And we're in the world of gaps, right? So this is what we pointed out over here. There was bearish divergence on, I think, all the ETFs that were the newer ETFs, right? And so after the bearish divergence started to break back down, and of course this was a sell signal over here on, that was a sell signal on that day for Bitcoin spot. And then there's a sell signal over here. There's a sell, buy, sell on the ETFs, right? So it was battling. And of course, it filled this gap, took out this pivot point, similar to Apple, partially filled this gap over here. So we're going to leave it. There's other gaps. We don't know if they're going to get filled or not, but they're buying. The people now would be able to buy the ETFs at a better value than it's been since February 27th, right? So there's a better value to buy the ETF gaps now than since February 27th. So that's just part of the game, right? Don't get upset. HODL, same thing, right? Gap, bearish divergence. I was pointing that out early on. They all look almost identical, in my opinion, right? So we weren't taken by surprise. We didn't think it was up only. We didn't think we are going straight to $1 million Bitcoin. Come on now. Those talks will start coming again. Those talks will get really loud. If Bitcoin gets above $100,000, you're going to start hearing the $1 million Bitcoin very loudly again, just like it was at $60,000 Bitcoin in 2021. And so, same sentiments get played out over and over and over again. That's yellow, right? All this gap was filled over here, right? This gap was filled over here. So ARK, Bitcoin, 3 of the 4 targets. I actually mapped this one out. So you can see all these targets are going to be exactly the same for all these ETFs. So hit 3 of the 4 targets to the downside on ARK, Bitcoin ETF. It's going to be the same for all the ETFs. 3 out of the 4 targets have been hit to the downside. The 4th target has not been hit yet. We don't know if it will or not. But this is a very, 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 very common target. Oh, you got it. Oh, just left it on there. Oh, I did it again. What happened? All right, there we go. So very, very common. We had bearish divergence over here, a lower high. Price came down, hit target 3. Price pumped back up, had bearish divergence, had another sell signal, came back down, hit target 3, and took out this pivot point again. Partially filled that gap. Still has target 4, still has gaps lower, but we don't know if those will get filled or not. That might be it. Target 3 is a very common target to hit. Target 4, less common, but also a very common target to get hit as well. So we're going to leave that on right now. And we will see. These are the ETFs. And again, better value to buy today than it has been since February 27th, where the close happened at $57. Price is at $56. I'm not here to catch falling knives. I'm here waiting for a higher probability reversal. Even if it gaps up on me, I'd rather let it do that personally. Bitwise, same thing, right? Same thing. This gap here. This gap was filled here at $32. This gap here at $34. And there you go. You got a gap down here as well. Maybe these gaps get filled at a later date. We don't know. If maybe they're not that large of a gap, so they're not concerned about it. This gap is pretty much mostly filled over here, but still open as well. So we don't know. These are pretty good sized gaps that was already filled. This is actually even more partially filled over there, in my own personal opinion. Franklin Templeton, right? Eyeball test, target 4. Here we are. Target 3 is probably around here, right? So bearish divergence. That upward trend line did not hold. GBTC, right? looks a little bit different, but still got those similar gaps over here like that. This one was basically filled. This gap was basically filled. Not 100%, but probably 99% filled, right? You'd have to zoom in pretty close. I would I would probably consider that filled. That's filled close enough. So we'll see. And of course, it's possible comes up like this, comes back down a little bit more, puts in some bullish divergence, right? And then maybe breaks out like Apple did, like that. So we'll see. Maybe it doesn't take that long, right? Maybe it's more like up, maybe it's up, down, and then out, right? So maybe something like that. We don't know. But you do have like gappy gap over there, right? So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. That's about it. What's this? FBTC Fidelity, right? They all start looking the same. So I don't feel the need to like keep spending all that time on it. But they all literally had bearish divergence, right? Even the indicator was picking it up. So you don't have to be an expert on starting out in the recorded coaching. I teach you bearish divergence and bullish divergence. I did a whole video on it. It's like over an hour long, answered questions from the live sniper crew at the time. And, but the indicator will pick it up most often, depending on what settings you have it on and time frame. But if while you're ramping up, it's calling out the bearish divergence on the sharpshooter RSI 2.0. So, helps out. Helps out. That's about it. If you got any questions, let me know. But we're over an hour on a Friday. That is incredible. 641 people on Twitter X app as of right now. Let's see how many likes we have. Let's see. Let's go back. What do we got? What do we got? Hit the refresh button. Oh, that hurts. 5 likes on 625 views on the live Twitter X app. Oh, that's terrible. That is terrible. Oh, that hurts my feelings. That hurts my feelings. Well, that's all right. I hit the water. That's all right. I got thick skin. I can handle it. I'll bounce back. You hurt my feelings. That's okay. We'll live with it. With that, hope everyone has a good weekend. Make sure to get outside, get away from the charts, get some of that natural vitamin D, and might be able to take my if the wife watches the baby. Of course, it's her baby. Maybe me and mom will sneak out for a quick hike. Nothing too long. Get back. It's not feel a little bit guilty. The wife can't go, right? Because she's still recovering. So I don't know if we will or not, but maybe we get out for a quick short hike versus a longer one. Get outside, all that stuff. With that, hope you have a good weekend. And we will see you on the next live stream for our 5th consecutive live stream, assuming all goes well as planned, as normal. And we'll continue to watch if we're going to see some bullish diversions play out in Bitcoin and the ETFs. And then look for that next possible breakout similar to Apple. And we'll see you on the next one. Talk to you later. Adios.